So the first pathway that we wanted to take you through in relation to the squat, remember we're starting with squat, maybe that's part of our strength programming. We're going to reverse engineer and go, okay, what's needed? Well, we definitely need some ankle mobility here. So the pathway that we've created within our pillar prep programming here, again, follows our standard pillar prep programming protocol. We've got some soft tissue work, and we've got something that's a little bit more mobility focused, and then something that's a little bit more stability focused. Hopefully prepping those ankles to get into that extreme angle of dorsiflexion. So I've got Stefan here to help me demo some of these movements. We're gonna kind of skip through the soft tissue pieces. Again, foam rolling your calves, foam rolling your hamstrings or your adductors. You can use trigger point tools. Maybe you've got some Voodoo floss bands, something different at your site, but most of us probably just have some foam rolls or maybe some baseballs or something like that. So we're going to go into our ankle mobility from a half kneeling position with a weight shift. Now, you can do this with a kettlebell or without. So again, just understand that you got some options here depending on what equipment you have. So Stefan's going to set up in kind of a adducted half kneeling position. So he's not straight on like you would with a half kneeling quad hip flexor stretch. He's opened up a little bit to the side. And he's staying a little bit narrow. You can do the same stretch and focus on your adductors by going out, and you're going to feel that stretch on the plant leg and that adductor. But we want to focus on the ankle. So he's going to get a little bit narrower, and he's just going to let that weight kind of help push him more passively into his end range. Now, Stefan's got some freakish ankles here. His mobility is pretty strong here. You might see some extreme limitations. Some people might not be able to get their knee past their toe. And I am saying, yes, we want their knee to go past their toe as long as it is in line with that big toe. That's the problem that we see with the squats, is either the knees don't match up, or if they can't go past the big toe, you're going to see them change their biomechanics of the squat, which is why we want to focus on that ankle mobility so strongly. So you've seen him demoing it, just moving into that end range and back. So once we've gone through that on both sides, we're going to go into our next piece that's a little bit more of a stability focus. And this comes from the functional range conditioning type elements, where we want to get into that end range, so it's more of a passive end range. He's kind of pushing himself into it. And then from here, we're going to create a little tension. We're going to get him used to being able to producing and absorbing force in that space. So all I'm going to do is cue him to bring the top of his shoe up towards his knee. So you won't see a lot of movement here. And then after holding that for 3 to 5 seconds, you can see he's actually working pretty hard. He's going to relax, and then he's going to go the opposite. He's going to drive the ball of that foot down into the ground, staying in this end range. So he might kind of repeat that, pulling that up, creating that tension and pushing down into the ground, back and forth each side. And suddenly we've got a little bit more active range, which we really need in the squat. So kind of in summary, right, we've got our standard pillar prep program in here, soft tissue, kind of a little bit more mobility emphasis, a little bit more stability emphasis. We've reverse engineered that and created that as our red thread that we might continue to coach up throughout the session. It's going to help us with some of our other movements, but it all starts with going, okay, what do I need in my strength block? What are going to be my limiting factors, and how can I address them and see that through the entire session?